I wish you got more cool moments in this anime because yes, that was a cool one, and I think that was the last of it.
And that was also when the opening music started playing, and I was just like, it's just like that's right. There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions, and I don't know if the next 12 episodes will give the answers, but
Hi, hello, this is Jules the Human here, and welcome to the Jules the Anime Hour. I'm one of your hosts, Jules the Human, and every week we go out into the world and watch a little bit of anime, and then we come back here and talk about it. Today is the last time we're going to be talking about Nier Automata version 1.1A, the anime that was made about the game, about the story in the game, and all that. And then after today, we're going to be picking a brand new anime. So we have a ton of anime here that need to be picked by us to watch all together, by you and us as well, hopefully. And we had one that was submitted really early in the morning for me. I got the notification like at 6 a.m., but there's a new anime on the list called Basilisk. So shout out to all those that watch the show after and not live. And yeah, the way to get it on a podcast or the way to get an anime on the podcast, all the words were there. They were just not in the right order. All the way to get it on here on this list, an anime that you would like for us to watch together. $5 super chat on YouTube or 500 bits on Twitch. Twitch, I think you can only do it live, but $5 super chat on YouTube, that's up for forever. So you can do that on the channel. But I don't go on these anime journeys alone. I go with my co-host Matt Galley. Matt, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing pretty good. I've been playing a few new video games, a few new board games. Been getting some good gaming done this week, TBH.
You know what? Me too. And I didn't talk about it. I haven't said it. I've been playing Marvel Spider-Man, the remastered version on PC. A lot of money, but
First one, not the
the
second
first
one.
no, the first one. I haven't played any
Gotcha.
of them.
Okay. Because those are used to be PlayStation exclusive before they remastered it for PC.
Yes. And I think the second one just came out on PC. And I was like, you know what? Let me do the first one because I haven't played the first one. It's really good. It's
Liking it?
amazing.
Yeah.
It's so
Web
much fun.
slinging.
Just web slinging, killing people, getting a bunch of suits. You have all these suits that you could do. Today, final time we're talking about Nier Automata. We have the very first anime for season 3. So it's going to be brand new board, brand new ranking. Same way we're going to do it, though. Animation, storytelling, and vibes. Overall, I guess to begin at the beginning, there's a lot here. And
There's
there
a
was a
lot
lot
here.
that wasn't here.
Okay.
Namely, answers to anything, really.
Yeah. Like, I mean, the answers we do get only lead to more questions.
That's true. Yes.
And to be fair, this is supposed to be part of a 24 episode first season. And so we're kind of like coming to the close of like an arc here. And it kind of gives the, at the end of the 4th episode, there's like a sense of finality to it. But there's like, yeah, there's still so much more story to explore after the final credits roll, which outside of this the 4th episode that we'll talk about, episode 12, it gives a true credit roll where the other episodes don't really do that. So just like it's a very interesting piece of media that we have here, and maybe it all makes way more sense if you have played the game. Potentially, maybe this is just the game verbatim. Maybe this is doing something unique and different if you have played the games. But again, we're in that territory where I have no idea what's going on. Not what's going on. I know what's going on, but just where the departures and the similarities lie.
But like the point of making something in a different medium is hopefully to capture a new audience or to get more eyes on it, not just to pay homage or to, what is it called? What is it called when you're like do something for the fans only?
Fan service.
I knew it was that. It's not. Hopefully, you just don't want to do fan service and stuff, servicing the people that already like the content. I think the reason to do it in an anime is to be like, hey, this is a really cool story. We want to make more people see it or more people aware that wouldn't pick up the game. And I have thoughts on if that would have worked for me, somebody that's new, that did get interested and started the game, but didn't finish it. and now we're stopping at episode 12. So definitely some thoughts there, but we should get into it because we have a lot to go. Episode 9, Hungry for Knowledge. What happens in episode 9?
9S enters the data back rooms and finds and 2B finds coordinates that lead her to an underground city devoid of any signs of life. She continues towards the coordinates and is led to a large building holding the Yorha squad that her and 9S have been assigned to locate. Adam presents himself and shows off the bodies of the aliens that created the machine life forms. Adam has been watching 2B and 9S for a while and believes that they showcase what appears to be a form of humanity, fascinating him. He taunts 2B with 9S being held hostage, and 2B is able to turn the tables using the pods to hack into the city, infiltrating Adam. 2B lunges at Adam with her sword, but Eve jumps in the way and takes a single blow. Still able to toss 2B out of the building through several walls. Adam, overwhelmed at the loss, the building crumbles around him as 2B departs with 9S.
So Adam is supposed to be this new being. In these episodes, they kind of reference him to maybe being God or a god, or I don't know. We don't really know what he does, but he has this whole city sort of. Was this in this show? I have, I guess, a hard time deciding what's real and what's not, but then like what is real, because
Yeah.
we've seen the interpretation of 9S hacking, and his hacking is like represented by him going to doors or like looking at stuff. And they've said before, this is a representation of hacking, but it's not like this. It's just so that we can understand it. So my first question is, this was a real city, right? But then Adam has control and can do whatever he wants
Yes.
in it.
Yes.
There's a
Both
point.
things are true. It's a physical place that he has like control over the structure of it at will, like how all the things just kind of like open up and get pulled out of stuff. This, a trap door is revealed, things come out of it. There's all those stone pillars of the what look like sculptures of people, and then they all sink into the ground. Like all that shit is just seems to be willed by Adam, at least.
Because he's like a new consciousness, a new form of existence that was made by the machines, as we saw them fake doing
Evolved from the machines.
Yeah. But
Question mark.
He just has like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's definitely like there are certain things that you kind of have to just roll with and just accept, I guess, at this point in the story, where it's not taking the time to handhold and explain certain things. It's just kind of like, yeah, this is what he can do. So you just kind of like accept that he is doing it and we move on.
Okay.
Because at that point, does the how even matter?
No, I guess it doesn't. But it's
For
just
certain
like,
things, for certain things.
yeah, it's just like
That. Yeah.
What is for me understanding? I'm just like, what is this? Because we see this whole new cyber area, this library that 2B is going down. There's what we think, or what I thought was like humans in stone, or like things in stone. So was this real?
I
Or was
was
this a
I was very
representation?
stuck between like, yeah, has he like frozen humans in time, something like that, or is it like an extension of the fact that we already saw his little workshop with all the paintings? So this is an example of him attempting to like be a sculptor.
Oh,
Like
okay. I
that's
didn't
kind of
think
like
that.
that's. I mean, I thought about it, but again, it's like the show doesn't really like at the end of this episode there's no solid answer to that really. But it's
No.
again, it's like, but does I don't know, does any of it matter? Does any of this shit matter, man?
I mean, I guess. I
I
mean,
don't
if
know.
for the larger story, I think that they're trying to tell, I guess it doesn't. Like, to think in a higher way, but I would like a story that makes sense if
Yeah.
I'm going to take it at face value. I think for more people to enjoy it, it does have to make sense, because I think that's why it is super niche, because maybe it's not the thing that makes the most sense and not a lot of people want to, whether it's good or bad. I mean, I'm sure it is good story by the end, but whether people want to take that extra leap and start introspective think
Yeah.
about humanity, then it's like it's going to stay pretty niche. I don't know. So we're in Adam City. Adam is said to like the riddle of what it means to be human. So we see this whole thing that he's talking about going through humanity and his interest in it. And we finally see the
An
aliens.
alien.
Do you How true do you think he was being here? Because he said a couple of things.
I
He
think
said
he's being
one,
honest about like I think there's no reason for Adam to lie in this situation. I think his curiosity, the whole idea of his interaction with 2B is that he just has this overwhelming curiosity to see how far he can push these two to see what type of raw emotions he like uses, like yes, that's it, like the raw anger or something
mhm,
like that. Like he wants to just see how far he can push these two to their like emotional breaking points. So
yeah.
I think he was trying to like kind of give her process shock where it's like I'm just going to give her all of these reveals one after the other and then I'm going to taunt her using the person that I can tell that she cares about to see what type of reaction I get out of this individual.
But then how would he know all of that information?
How does he know? I have no idea. Maybe it's just the I think possibly when he was first born, he was still he and Eve were both connected to the entirety of the machine network and
Okay.
possibly there's like a shared storage of information and then he states at one point that like this is what I get for disconnecting myself from the machine network. So even
Mhm.
after he disconnected himself, did he still have access to like all the stores of information that granted him initially? If that's even how they work, like I'm just kind of again taking a shot in the dark that like
Sure,
this is a
yeah.
possibility.
Because he drops out a lot of information, like you said, that the aliens did make the machines, which is what we know already, but he confirms it. That that they were wiped out by the machines a long time ago. So the machines turned on their own alien people. Adam wants 2B to join him, and humanity's in conflict because humanity went extinct a long time ago. Adam says he's severed from the network and a few things like that. So he does also state that what was a theory that we had, because we have nothing really to base off a lot of it, that the aliens and the humans, the ones that started the war, are not here anymore, and
Yeah,
this is what's
exactly.
left. Them fighting for something that they don't have anymore, and fighting for humanity for something that was extinct. The robots being the brainchild of these aliens, and the aliens not even being there anymore.
Yep. And the androids being the the product of humanity and the and humanity not even being there anymore.
So, what is this storytelling?
This is
Like,
exact like I posed this quandary a while or in the last episode or the first episode, like what happens when you've been fighting a war for so long and the people that like really started the war and were using you as weapons, but you're a type of weapon that can evolve and you evolve to the point of consciousness and surpass the people that originally started the war, but you're still in this conflict, like
so a new race
is
is
there no
born.
quarrel anymore? Is there no
Yeah, that's
quarrel?
true.
Or is the fact of the, the concept, then what did all of our comrades die for gets involved? What was all this meaningless gets involved? And then yes, that's where I think the story is really trying to pose
Okay.
themes, in
Because it
my
goes
opinion.
Yeah, because it goes back to what Pascal was talking about with the
Exactly.
ship, about
Yep.
like if you replace every part of the ship, how much is the original ship there? Like, do you still call it the same name? Is it not the original ship or not? Now I understand, yeah, how that can make sense. Where it's like, well, everything that was made and all the pieces of the puzzle that started this are now gone, but it is still ongoing. So, is this still a war that can be had?
That should be had.
That should be had, because all the components that led to it are gone, and now we're just still fighting here, and it's kind of crazy. So, um,
But then, yeah, it leads to the question: if we do stop fighting, were all those deaths just pointless? Like, what
yeah,
happens with that? And then that's the other question it's trying to ask as well, or like, pose. Maybe not. It's not asking it to be answered directly, because, in
you
my
can.
opinion, all themes that a show presents aren't always meant to be answered, but just meant to be. It's something to process. It's something to ponder and think about.
Because you can see down the line that if this information is out and if this information is found to be true, how are the two sides going to react to it? And you want to see, like, well, yeah, that's what some one of the sides is going to pose. Maybe the androids, hopefully the commander, could pose some empathy or something, but also it could be like, well, what did we fight for? What was all this for? So we have to keep fighting because they died in this thing and we don't want to make it meaningless. Episode 10, overzealous. What happens in and Eve took the bullet, took the sword blow. Eve died. Rip my
Rip Eve. We
rip
will all
that boy.
become as Eve. We will
Did
all
it
become as Eve.
didn't didn't get to play that one more time. But what happens in episode 10, overzealous?
The commander states that it appears the machine network was being managed by Eve, and Adam is left in shambles at the loss of Eve, as a group of machine life forms that appear to have a religious fervor allow 2B into their factory as she attempts to track down Adam. They they all turn, all the machine life forms, forcing 2B to retreat as she meets up with 9S, who is hacked into a machine life form while he is still in the bunker. Running across a large machine life form, 9S disables the shields for 2B to dispatch it. However, this seems to cause an anomaly that reactivates many machine life forms detected by the bunker. All of the machine life forms in the factory jump into the forges, echoing that they will die and become as Eve. 2B leaves the factory to discover smoke rising in the direction of the resistance base.
So now we get a whole other thing thrown into it because this was a highly religious episode and the most religious of this, because Commander says that without Eve, machines have begun severing from the network. Machines come to see Adam, and machines are recognizing God or seeking God. And God wants a treaty with 2B. They meet up with different groups that are severed from the network. Um, and then all this weird shit happens, man. We get some weird chanting. All will die and become like Eve. Bro, this was wild. Like it was freaky for a little bit,
It was a little freaky, yeah.
just
I
because of their
mean,
voices, the robotic voices and stuff.
the robotic voices and just, the idea of religious zealotry in general is kind of spoopy.
Yeah. Yeah, but then it takes it a step further because, like, yes, while someone, a human, we can see that because we know of our religions. I mean, you have some concept of a religion. But here what really made me feel weird is, like, what do they think that is?
Mhm.
And what do they think Eve was
Well, they
for
even like
Adam?
back in the episode where we met the bot that just wanted to plant flowers,
Yeah.
and like their data or whatever, God emerged from a volcano. So like, how does that play into it if it's supposed to? Is kind of what I started thinking. I was like, we've talked about God once before with these machines, and it was during that story. So I'm just like, in my head, I tried my best to like connect the dots on that, but I just don't understand how like Adam is involved if or I'm sorry, Eve is involved if he just recently became an evolved form of the machine life forms.
Mhm.
Which is also like, why was Adam the or Eve? Why was Eve the one that was like the server for all the machine life forms if they have only been on the surface of the planet or existed since 2B and 9S dropped into the surface of the planet to kind of knock on their cocoon, so to speak. It's just like that's right. There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions, and I don't know if the next 12 episodes will give the answers, but
so some crazy stuff happens. The robots make a mess. It would to be some we had some 2B fighting. And I think oh yeah, I think this is like the biggest gripe that I have with the show. I don't there's not like a thing that they set it up to be like this big fight stuff in these big fight feels. And I'm like, okay, how's 2B gonna get out with this one? How's this gonna happen? But it consistently like lets me down by doing something different. And it is really thought provoking and really like, whoa, what's
thinking
happening?
outside the box, kind of.
But sometimes I need a
I
big
just
ass
want a big
battle.
fight.
I need a big ass battle if you're
I
gonna
just
set it up
want
this way.
Shangri-La Frontier and a big old boss and a big old fight using some sort of that. Like that's the thing I feel like inherently about the show versus something like a game, right? In the
Mm-hmm.
gameplay, you have the time to grind and go back to the camp and upgrade and put points in your skill tree and get new weapons and stuff. But the show is going to have a much harder time like showcasing that. And
Yeah.
it's not until the next episode that we really, I feel like, get a kind of like a power progression payoff moment.
But then in the
And it's
last
very
episode,
small. And it's very small.
yeah, but then in the last episode, it's like, oh, okay,
Yeah, we're done.
cool.
Yeah.
And like it just consistently, I mean, in the past, we meet A2, and that's
Mhm.
nothing really that happens. We get some fighting throughout the show in the first 12 episodes, but it's like, don't set it up that way. Don't give them the big old swords and stuff if you're not going to deliver or
Mhm.
anything. Talking to me about 200,000 robots outside. Okay, crazy, man. Let's see them fight it in the flashback. And I'm like, okay, cool. We got a little bit of fights here. When there's so much space, there's a lot of space in the show, like open, like it's taking the scenery, taking this, taking the facial expression. Love that. Cool. But then don't set it up to be like the odds are stacked against us. How is in this episode, how is 2B gonna take on this robot mass? And I'm like, here we
Yeah,
are.
and
Let's
even like
go.
they have the pods do the whole allow us to use wide area attack. Oh, and then she's like, your
And
circuits might completely fry.
that's a
Like,
big
nope,
moment
your chances of survival are decreasing. But
as we speak.
they were never even targeting to be in the first place. So how was that algorithm being calculated if the intent of the bots was just to jump into the huge, because I mean that's what the reveal is, right? Is that, oh, they weren't even technically a threat to you, they were just intensely trying to commit group suicide.
Yeah. Yeah. Um so I think a lot of this is like until I know what the ending is, until I know the actual big reveal, which I guess I'm gonna continue watching it. I think I would like it better to watch it than to play it and
Kind
see
of
it
might
play
keep
out.
watching it, yeah.
But other if it doesn't have something that's it's setting itself up too high to where like it is very difficult to pull off, and I feel like I will not be satiated, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna just mark all this as fake deep. Like this was trying a thing. Like this is somebody putting a half open can of tomato soup in the art gallery, and they're like, check this out. And it's like, come on, man. It's tomato soup. You know, that's how I feel. That's how I feel with the show. Like yes, you can give me the story. I love it. But if you're not going to seal the deal, you're soup. Soup on the dance floor
But
out
soup is
there.
still good soup.
Good soup. So yeah, the big reveal, like you said, the machines end up killing themselves, going off the edge, and it's like, whoa, cool moment. Really wanted to fight though. Um, they have a ton of units out there. Devolo, let's see. There was like a super long puppet ending at the end of this
There
one.
was a super long puppet ending after this one.
And I was like, Okay.
I was okay with it.
It's okay.
It was okay.
That's
It
all right.
wasn't crazy good.
No, I don't know how I feel. How do you feel about the puppet endings? Like we haven't talked about it broadly.
Broadly speaking, I like them. I think it's a cool way of like, because for something like this, they're only going to choose like one, true ending, so to speak, that they can go with, unless they do something like the Clue movie and just like, as soon as one ending's over, they're like, that's how it could have gone, but how about this? And then they
Yeah.
show another ending. Like, I feel like it's a good way of kind of doing that while not having to run into budgetary or storyboarding problems, because it's just these silly little vignettes that they get to kind of like, it's not a one-to-one retelling of the ending, it's just like a inspired example, and then they give the text read that kind of tells
Hmm.
you which ending it represents. So I enjoy them. I think they're funny, I think they're quirky, but like when you get one that's like overstays its welcome because it's just kind of rambling on,
Doing a thing.
doing a thing, and it even told me, it tells us, it's like, hey, this one's going to be a little bit longer than normal, and I'm like, all right, all right, like, I don't know
Cool.
why, but okay. And I thought
Yeah.
like it was like leading up to something, but then it's just like, oh no, it just really was one of them, but really long, with the punchline extended over like 2 whole minutes instead of 45 seconds. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I don't know why. I don't. The more they happen, I'm just like, I'm okay. I'm all set without those. I don't need them. I don't think. There was a couple times where it gave us some good information, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Like they talked in the beginning, the first couple episodes, but after I was like, I'm okay.
Do you think the intrigue just kind of like wore off? Like the show wasn't breadcrumbing enough? Like, what do you think
I think
the
so.
the show needed in order to kind of like keep it from feeling like it's fake deep?
I think they're doing what I said at the beginning, where they're relying on the people that have played the game to be like, trust me, it's good, bro. Trust me, it's good, instead of giving actual reasons to be good for new people, I think, which they should have done, because this could have been a way to reach the entire new audience. And they put out 12 episodes, uh, and there was like a long time in between then with no real answers. It's hard to say that you would want to continue with what they gave you at the end. So I'm just like, this is good, but like, I don't know. So I
Mhm.
think it could have definitely been a little more catered to the new person, because that's what they should have done, I think, with when they're switching mediums. They just see this flashy new 2B character, and somebody could be like, "Oh, I think I've seen her from something. Cool, let's watch
From
this."
somewhere.
And then they watch the first couple episodes, they're like, "What's going on? What's happening? I don't know if I like this."
Which, that's the thing. I feel like the first couple episodes and even some of the middle ones really held us a good like string, but I feel like, yeah, that now that we're coming to like kind of like a close of this
Arc.
yeah, this arc, so to speak, that it kind of feels as though it might have lost some direction. When you have it's always hard when you have the main protagonist and the main antagonist meet once, and then they like, it's not really their final face off, and then that sets like a very high expectation that it should be bigger and better the next time for better reasons, because they've already been in front of each other once.
That's yeah, that's kind of where I liked the game a little bit more, because I did play up to like episode what was it? Maybe episode 9. Up to episode 9, that's where I got to the in the game, and I stopped. You do fight Adam and Eve like twice up till now, and it's like,
And we never
yeah,
even that's something, a problem that I'm gonna have in the next episode, where yeah, we like never really even fought or had actual conflict with Eve, and yet they come back as some sort of spectacle for flair or whatever, and it feels a little weird. It
yeah.
feels a little weird.
Like one of the big moments I where I got my ass handed to me was when they did get birthed. I remember that scene specifically. They get birthed and then they start coming at you. I'm like, whoa, what's happening? This is crazy. In the show, that doesn't happen. Then we fight them again in another place. Didn't happen in the show. And it's like, well, okay. I kind of liked it better in the
So
game, that at
that's
least for that.
definitely where I say I'm at a loss for where the show takes liberties with the narrative versus staying close to the source material for sure.
Let's keep going. Got some more episodes to go. Episode 11, Heady Battle. What happens in episode 11?
Machine life forms are entered. Oh,
no, he just looks scary.
Oh, yeah, I was like, what happened? ML's machine life forms, I have them abbreviated here, are entering the city and approaching the resistance base en masse. 2B is granted extra weapons in case the need should arise, and Lily briefs 2B on the situation at base, where 2B announces that they have a plan. The commander pleads to the Council of Humanity to utilize weapons in their control, but the council objects. 9S arrives with an EMP bomb, and the androids, utilizing EMP shields, are able to disable all the machine life forms in a huge area. They all combine to create a massive Eve kaiju before Adam shows himself and turns the mass into another monster. Using the combined effort of the resistance, 9S hacking into Adam and an ion cannon on the bunker, they seemingly defeat Adam.
Bro, is that Attack on Titan? That kaiju number 7 or whatever. The kaiju number 69.
Bro, that Adam kaiju was... I was like, what's going on? It's like, why do we have a massive...
It's the
Adam
big bad.
kaiju? Like, what?
It's the big bad. We got to do it.
I always just think it's really silly when a narrative takes a villain and thinks like, oh, we just turn him into a huge version of himself, and then all of a sudden that's going to make him a better villain for them to fight, a scarier villain to fight. And
Power
it's
Rangers
just like,
did it.
it just feels lazy.
Yeah,
when that happens,
especially because I feel like we don't even like dive into all that Adam could do by himself. Like,
exactly, that's what I mean. Like, why is he big if we don't even know who he is, really? Like, we knew he was really close to we knew Eve was really close to Adam, and so I understand his death being the thing that throws Adam off the deep end, but like, when we get him here turning into a big old monster, a big old thing, it's just like, is that what they meant when they said that, like, we will all die and become as Eve? Like, they all wanted to just turn into a huge Eve thing? Like,
I don't know about all that. I don't know like what they meant or what they mean by becoming Eve or sacrificing, or is that like meant to
like,
be like,
if we destroy ourselves, we will become as Eve has been destroyed.
So is that kind of like the blind faith that we see in humanity, that like they think that's what that is?
Blind faith? You talking about?
Yeah, like, okay, you never been in a cult? Sounds like someone's never been in a cult before. Okay,
Patty T-tap.
Gotta drink that Kool-Aid. Something happened before that. Before Kaiju Kaijadam, the robots were eating like savages, bro. What the fuck? We got cannibals. We got cannibals robots out here. The machines have overtaken the city. There's a machine that's stronger than the others. We find out the commander does want to help, but her bosses do not want to use the satellite laser. We had satellite lasers this whole time. Yep.
But they said that if we use it, it might like force them to, evolve. And they like, so, and that poses the question. So yeah, like the machines evolve at a rate equal or faster than whatever is being used on them. So if they use this huge laser, it might cause them all to evolve past the laser. But I thought everything was going according to plan with Adam and Eve. Like I just
Yeah.
ah!
But then also like I feel like the androids are of or equal to, I mean, if you can make a big laser, aren't you up here? So then by the time they evolve, wouldn't you be up here already? Or are they faster
I
evolving
don't know
because
the
they
power
found
scaling
God?
numbers.
Okay. But something that
What's the min max on the evolution rate?
yeah. Can we get some what's the formula for the evolution rate here for both races here of machines? The commander's bosses say something really interesting, really quick, that they're like, no, we cannot use the lasers. We are to obtain God under process 11. Never
What's
again.
process 11?
Nothing else. We are to obtain God. So the point was, as we've notated before, that Adam and Eve was part of the process. We are to obtain God. I think it was the commander later that says in like a soliloquy in the last episode or something that we all want to find God, or the idea of finding God is the ultimate goal or something like that. So are the machines looking for meaning because they know that the humans are gone? There was also another thing. Oh, I think it was at the end. Oh, never mind. So I think they're going to talk about it in the last episode. Um, so I don't know. A lot more questions here about process
A lot
11 and
more
stuff.
questions.
The
Oh,
machine's
boy.
bodies start to converge into a kaiju, evolving, and then we get Adam. Adam says the world is meaningless and he'll destroy everything. Adam manages the
Me when I
machine
don't get
life
my sweet little
forms,
treats.
absorbing life force of machines still on the network. Pascal saves Nines like Nine saved him. That was a little spot there. 2B had some epic moments, slicing 3 robots through, just like whom, and it was gone. That was a cool moment.
Yeah, it was a cool moment because it even got me where she's getting chased and she calls out to her droid to like run some program, and it causes like all the robots jump on what turns out to be a decoy while she's like charging up a heavy attack behind the
Hell yeah.
pillar. Really cool moment, and I wish we just got more small stuff like that sprinkled throughout the rest of the show.
I wish you got more cool moments in this anime, because yes, that was a cool one, and I think that was the last of it. Other than
And then
9S,
that was also when the opening music started playing, and I was just like
I
I like
feel
lifted out of my seat for a second.
I feel like it's trying heavily to subvert expectations, and it's not fun. Like
Yeah.
I feel like they're like, you think we're gonna do it, but it's gonna be cool because we don't, and we're not gonna give you what you want. Kind of like what the people for Game of Thrones said or whatever. We're subverting expectations, and that'll keep you guessing. And it's like, no, it makes me mad, bro.
It's like there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. And I think the show's trying to do it by and large, and only sprinkling in some of those smaller moments where expectations aren't subverted. And I feel like it works way better when it's the opposite, because then you're set up to expect the expected, but the few times at more impactful moments when you turn that around on its head, it actually feels unexpected and it feels deserved and earned. But if it's something that happens so often that you just come to accept, then it's like you're not subverting my expectations. I'm just like I have to. I'm just now in a market of do I like this or not? What is it even whatever it's trying to subvert expectations into? It's doing so often that it has become that thing, and
And
now
I don't
that
like the thing.
and if
Largely,
you
we
don't
do
like
not
that
like this
thing,
thing.
you're not gonna like that thing.
Like
Exactly.
part of why I watch the wrestling I do, AEW, it's like, yo, it's predetermined here. This guy, the main guy that everybody likes, he's gonna win at the pay-per-view. Yeah, it's gonna feel fucking awesome when he wins.
Mhm.
What are you doing? you don't have to subvert expectations all the time like they're
You
doing
don't
here.
have.
You can give them people what they want, and it'll be just as amazing, even
And I
more
feel like
amazing.
that's like where we get the first episode, maybe even the first two, where it's like front loaded with a lot of like the more cool moments, and then it really just kind of like dials things back and makes it more about this introspective, like, all everything else that the show dives into. And
That that's cool
yeah.
and all, but I forgot all that stuff. When I'm seeing this kaiju come out, and when I'm
Exactly.
seeing like what could have been with 2B slicing through, I forgot all that cool stuff we did in the beginning. I'm here now with a bunch of questions, and you're not giving me the thing I like. So that was
Yeah.
that was a wrong move. Because
I totally understand.
again, we had a new 9S weapon, and I was like, cool, whatever, let's hack at him. He hacks at him, and I'm like, okay. And then he Adam still alive, but he goes down back to Earth. So yeah, I'm just like, when do we get the cool stuff that everybody's like the game is just infinitely cooler because it's
Yeah.
a video game.
Yeah.
And I wish they could have translated
Gameplay.
that a little bit better. Gameplay is the fun part. Episode 12, how did it end? Flowers for machines. What happens in episode 12?
In response to their usage of the ion cannon, the commander states that they have the need of a god. Excuse me. 9S and 2B drop into the crater to finish off Adam, and 9S seems to have been given a virus from when he hacked into Adam. 9S pleading for 2B to finish him off before it takes over. 2B reluctantly accepts his request and cries over his body, believing she has lost that 9S forever. His sense of self is regenerated in the surrounding machine life forms and comes back to consciousness through them. All appears to be said and done. However, we see that 2 hours prior to the battle with Adam, when 9S was still getting diagnostics ran, he came across some interesting characters in the system and ran into a wealth of information involving the Yorha program.
Oh, that was in the past.
That was 2 hours. It like when it comes back to the ship, it
They
says
didn't
2 hours before the fight against Adam.
they didn't have that in the English version. They
Oh,
didn't have the subtitles there in the
yep.
English version, so I had
That's
no idea that it was before.
that was 2 hours before.
Yeah, they don't put text subtitles in English version for some reason. So
Ooh.
I did miss a lot of stuff, I'm sure. That sucks. But I ain't reading all that, bro. Good for you, or I'm sorry.
The
Because when
only
that
thing that I caught at the end here, when I was like watching it, is
uh,
I'm looking for tags. I'm looking for whatever is displayed the
uh,
biggest, and right here where it says human extinction and loss of android morale as the headings. That's all I caught. Like my eyes glanced over that the first time when I was watching it.
search for a way to revive humanity. They haven't discovered an answer,
So
and
the
humans
humans
went
have been
extinct.
dead.
They've
Humanity
been
been
gone
dead way before Yorha even got deployed, and Yorha was a way to try to give the existing android population some sort of hope and to quell the rumors that humanity has gone extinct.
because the morale went down. If you tell
Yeah,
them the humans are done,
yeah, but like, what are they fighting for then if humanity's gone? Glory to
oh
humanity is their thing, right?
yeah,
So that's
which also goes in
that's
hand
where
in
I get
hand.
left. I'm like, actually what's going on? I do want to know, but I feel like it took so much
Because
to get here.
we are still getting like the empty crates that are being sent up to the moon. Like, what is that?
That
What is
too.
that part?
Because the empty crates that are getting shipped up, it's like it's sending up water and parts, like replacement parts. Like, what are you replacing? What needs water? More
Plants.
androids? Because they need androids. Androids, not Yorha, but like the other ones need water to like, replenish their batteries or
Hmm.
whatever. So I don't know. I got
Weird.
questions that I do want answers for. I am intrigued by certain reveals that we get, but I don't know.
The commander at the
It's just
beginning.
hard knowing that this is a 24 episode season.
Yeah. I don't know if they're going to make another season. I would feel like this is the end of the show. Like this is
which is again
the end of the game.
The at the 24th episode.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I would hope so. I mean, if unless that game's really long, but again, that's why I feel like when they call it version 1.1A, it might be referring to like the 1.1A like ending / timeline, and so that's the story that it's trying to tell, and all the other
I know
endings might be like different timeline-esque. I don't know how it really works.
I do know, because I had looked it up at the time, that all the endings were named by letters. I do know that like ending 1 through 26. That's how much I think they did get 26, or unless they were missing one, I'm not too sure. But each ending has a letter associated with it, and that means that there's like 26 endings, sort of.
Okay.
So it could definitely be that with the version 1.1A. Could be an allusion to that. At the beginning of episode 12, the commander says, when you have a need to seek out God, even if the God we seek is non-existent. I feel like that's a part of humanity. Yeah, possibly. Or somebody's choice, at least the choice of seeking out a God that may or may not exist. That is part of a humanity. We say Adam's still alive. Adam had flashes of his brother Eve at the end. 9S helps 2B kill Adam. Then 9S gets the virus from his red eyes. He's corrupted. 2B cares about 9s. Do we care? Do we care about 9S and 2B in this moment? Because I did care a little bit.
I think I do.
But
felt like
he wasn't dying. You know what I mean? Like there's only so much you could care about
but it's
him.
like it's the whole idea for me where when she asks the question, is this how it's going to end up every time? I guess that's association of certain, like, for me, it's like an empathy, like, mode kind of gets triggered, I guess, where
Yeah.
it's really hard to have to, see somebody that you care about, whether whether or not they actually are alive, living beings. It's like they have like Adam was saying, they showcase a form of humanity that allows me to try to put myself in their shoes,
Sure.
so to speak.
Because like we saw like a TikTok thing about the transporters in Star Trek yesterday, or how your being dies, but then another one gets made on the other side, so that's not technically you or whatever. So that's kind of what this is. Like if someone told me, "Hey, you and Matt are gonna hang out for a month, vibe, do whatever for a month, but then at the end of it, he's gonna die, but not really, because I have a clone of him that I'm going to give you. He just won't have memories of that last month." Would I be sad? Yeah, but like, I don't know. How much does that change you? Because that's basically what they have. They've been hanging out for a month.
Yeah.
2B and 9S, and all that's going to happen is, hey, a version of him is up there. He's not going to remember you from the past week or two or whatever, or your adventures. He still has the capability to be the friend that you had. He still is that person.
Like, has the capability, but will all the events line up to, create the same type of relationship that they had in that moment? Because that's
51st
already the
Dates
whole
did it. 51st
I mean,
Dates did it.
damn, is this
He
just
had to fall.
51st Dates?
He had
That's
to fall in
crazy.
love.
Oh my
Yep.
god, I think you
She had
just
to fall in love with him
I
every
was like,
day.
we have come to the second time in anime podcast an anime hour history where we've used an Adam Sandler comedy to directly compare the events of the show. The other one being Click.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
he's got it all.
That kind of broke my train of thought there. I'm
It's
not gonna
like,
lie.
no.
But like still, like again, it's for me, it's I try to put myself in their shoes, and
Yeah,
if they care, I care.
yeah,
So there's with 2B, she cares deeply because like her whole thing was that like I want to make 9S happy. So if I lose him again, is this just what's like I think that's where her mindset is that like sure it can happen, but is this just going to be the same thing happening over and over and
yeah.
over again? Is that all that lies ahead? And I
Will
think
I?
that's where it
Yeah.
stings for her
Will I never have a full relationship with this person
because
because we
I'm
have
just
to
going to
keep
keep having to
restarting?
get acclimated with memories of a new version of him and have to see him die in front of me. It's not just like he's gone away and I'll never see him again. It's like I'm watching him die.
Mhm.
What is this for? What is the meaning of
And
this?
and that's empathy, right? Like you see the person and you see the thing happening, you see the person sad, and while you don't understand it, you see that they are sad and you are sad for them. Um, yeah, we get the credits rolling halfway through. Uh, a bunch of stuff with these girls, some setup, records from the ship, like you said. Um,
So apparently they just watch androids all the time, and that sometimes it's out of like curiosity, sometimes it's out of hate, sometimes it's out of love. They just are watching all of them for whatever reason and have now like so to speak given what do they call it, the apple of knowledge they
yeah,
gave him,
he
so
has the gift
which
of
was
clarity, the truth, which he could become a prophet from. Is this Dune? Is this Dune?
Listen, Al-Gaib.
Is 9S gonna be him? Is he him? What and then there's a question posed at the end: what makes them different, the machines and the androids? I did write in my in my notes, I ain't reading all that, and it was those those notes that just popped up. I was like, I ain't reading all that. No, I'm good. So that's the end. Episode 12. We're 12 episodes done with Nier Automata version 1.1A. We are done. We may watch on our own. We'll give you updates if we do, but the way that we do the show is we watch a little bit of an anime and then we give it a ranking, rank it on a couple different criteria, and then we move on to the next one. We have a lot of anime we need to watch, and we only watch like the first 12 episodes of each one. So we have not a whole lot of time, so let's get through it. Animation, storytelling, and vibes. Matt, how would you rank Nier Automata and animation?
Animation, I'm giving it an A. I feel like the animation was very consistent. I really like how the androids and the machine life forms like have they're very distinct from each other, but they are still the androids have this humanity, human-esque quality to them, but the machine life forms get to be these, weird, clanky
The little clanky
things.
boys. Yeah.
So I really like the way that they clash against each other and the way the show is able to bring them both to life in their unique regards.
Yeah.
Jules, how are you going to rate the animation?
I'm giving animation an A. I do really like the models that they used again, as well. The little clanky boys that we see all the time. I think I had some issues with the like CG that they did. That was just it didn't look as complete as it could have, as we've seen in other shows. That you can tell the difference, and you can tell when they put a lot of time into something. It was not as consistent as shows that we've seen before, where it's all going fine and then it slows down. You can see every wave of hair moving, and I'm like, okay, this is weird. Like, why did you spend so much time on this like shot here? It was just not super consistent. It did look really pretty though. I really do like the aesthetic. um the color palette was fine. It was a lot of grays and whites and blacks and stuff, and it was like, okay, we get some pop here and there with the green and stuff, but it does have the essence of the video game, so I see what they're doing. not my favorite to watch on an anime, but it was true to form as the game was. Um, Storytelling. What would you give the anime for storytelling?
So I rated it as an A, and as we talked over it, like, I sway on holding that ground, but like there's something about going back. I'm trying to keep my thoughts brief, but also there's a lot to say. There's something about what we were talking about with the whole idea that it it struggles to kind of like maintain its pace. It for me, the show feels a little bit front loaded, and certain questions are posed and they kind of hit a back burner while the show wants to pose other questions. And I guess it's for me, it's more the themes that are being presented and asked, certain questions that are being asked that kind of are more important to be asked than answered is what's kind of reeling me in. The whole idea that it starts off very bombastic, but then it kind of like it slows down and it's not giving us those moments. Is it a case of trying to subvert your expectations? I'm not sure if that's exactly what they were trying to do, because again, at a certain point, it becomes so low conflict that I just kind of accepted, like, oh, this is the story that we are getting. So I'm going to just kind of like be ready for this different story that's not going to have a lot of action.
Don't give
But
me
like the
two
more
million robot
while
fights.
you were posing that whole concept, it definitely had me, rethinking where I stand on terms of the storytelling. So I just wanted to definitely voice that. But I definitely think it's not something that I would recommend somebody that uh really likes action-based stuff, but I do think there's an audience here that could enjoy the type of story it's trying to tell, and I would recommend it subjectively to those people. Jules, where do you sit on storytelling?
Yeah, man, I really wish it was more of a story that didn't lead so much into the second half because we don't get a whole lot. I mean, again, I'm gonna reference it because that's what I'm watching right now. Severance, like season 2 of Severance, just came out after 3 years of not having any Severance at all, and with that show, it gave equally, if not maybe more, questions at the end of season 1, but I was still satiated enough to be like, hell yeah, can't wait. Here I come. And this is sort of what happened with Nier Automata, where there was a long break between the first part and then the second part. But it didn't give enough to be like, let's go, let's do it, let's continue, let's get these answers to these questions. It didn't give that I need to know, because right now I'm just like, I could know or I couldn't know. Like, I'm fine with not, am I just never going to know what ultimately is happening in Nier Automata? I'm on the fence because I'm like, do I want another 12 episodes? And it's already set itself up to possibly not meet my expectations because now I'm expecting a whole lot because we haven't got a whole lot this whole time. So I'm sticking with a high B, low A, something like that, because I while I do like all the questions and I love questioning and I love when we've had a lot of anime that are like questioning the idea of humanity and the idea of being who we are, what makes us us, and the way that they portrayed it in these forms that look so much like us and in these forms that look nothing like us. And I love all that stuff. So that's what's keeping me sort of towards the higher part of it because of the way they depicted it. But man, I don't know if I could just be like, hey, watch this show. I'll be like, do you have the time for the 24 episodes? Because if you stop, it's not going to be a good time. You have to consume this entire thing. Whereas in every other anime, I'm enjoying it. I'm like, here, episode 6. I'm like, cool, man, whatever. We're going on the adventure. But I feel like I'm not going to get that fun until I see the end. And that's they could pull it off. Who knows? It could be the greatest
That's
story ever told.
I hold my breath because of how many people I've seen putting like, the story and the narrative behind the game give it such high praise
Yeah.
before. So like I ultimately have more hope that it will be worth it all in the payoff realm. But like there's got to be some sort of crazy plot twist coming, because everything being set
What
up is
if
gonna, like, just absolutely turn the whole context of the show on its head. That's like, then again, that's very high expectations to have. So that's where I'm very hesitant, because like I have enjoyed the ride so far, but I am very worried that it's either, an amusement park at the end of this road, or just a cliff I'm gonna drive off of.
vibes? What would you give this show on vibes?
Vibes, I'm giving it an A, because I really enjoy 2B and 9S mostly. I really
Yeah.
enjoy them as a pair, and the way that they kind of have like differing ideals. Even though they're supposed to be androids, we get to see that, they're full of emotion, they're full of want and desires, and uh traits, and faults. And it's just a very interesting dynamic that they have, and that's kind of what mostly carries the show.
Yep.
So if I like them, I really just kind of like the vibe that the show generally has, because
Mm,
whatever they're doing, I just enjoy seeing them
yeah.
specifically do it. Even though 9S can get a little 9S 9S when she has to cut them off, I'm still enjoying it
Yeah.
with them. Jules, where do you rate the vibes?
I think it was around an A as well. Like you were saying, I do like them too. I do like it was funny. Like I do
Was
find him
very funny.
funny. I find Pascal funny. I love their interactions. I love the Pascal character. It was all silly when it could be, and the robots were funny. Little silly robots doing little silly things. So yeah, the vibes were good. Like Jackass, big fan of Jackass. Yeah, the vibes are okay. They're A, pretty good. I do like the characters, so it's fine. Um, Final ranking for Nier Automata. We crunched the numbers, and this anime is an A rank anime. First anime of season 3. It is an A rank. A rank anime goes up on the brand new board. No other anime here. Season
Wow.
off with an A rank anime. This probably has to be the highest that an anime has been, that I don't know if I would recommend it. But, like,
Yeah,
I
like, that's
liked
what I
it.
mean. I really liked it. I don't know how I feel about recommending it. Definitely not to people that want something like, it's not a power fantasy. It's not a power scaling
It's not
show. It's not
action.
about this 2B and 9S getting stronger and getting new powers. Even though they do get new powers and weapons, the show's narrative is not really based around that. So
No.
I enjoy this show so far.
I
Hard
enjoy the
recommend.
show conceptually. I like the concepts, and I wanna see where it's going. So we have a ton of new anime that are in the chest right now, and Matt has the job of picking out an anime at random. These were submitted by me and Matt, but also by you. Again, if you like an anime on this list to be put in the chest, $5 super chat on YouTube, 500 bits on Twitch. You can get us an anime. If it's not like a weird anime, we'll put it in. Also, thank you to the person that submitted Basilisk to be an anime watching offline. So, Matt, what's the next anime we're gonna pick and we're gonna watch?
Oh, give me one. This one's Chrono Crusade.
Chrono Cru. I think that's mine.
That's yours.
That's mine.
That's
Chrono
yours.
Crusade. I saw this. My Crunchyroll recommended it to me, and I was like, "That looks cool. That looks cool. Why not? I never heard of it. Let's give it a shot. It could
Let's
suck,
give it a
so
shot. Could be
don't blame me."
cinema. I'm
Uh,
gonna blame you, just like I got blamed for us having to watch Duke of Death and his maid.
is this my
That one
Duke of
will always
Death?
haunt me. I
Is this
was
my
like,
Duke
that
of
looks
Death?
kind of cool. Sure.
Chrono Crusade. It is on Crunchyroll. Watch the first 4 episodes of it next week. We never heard of it. I saw it just randomly So go on this adventure with us. The point of the show is for you. It's kind of like a book club for you to watch the shows with us. Maybe find your next favorite show or discover just new anime. Matt, when you are not in the cloned city of Nier Automata, where can they find you?
You can find me on my socials at itsmatt_galley on Instagram and Threads, where I just be posting. You can also follow me on my YouTube at Matt_galley, where I plan to post one day.
Maybe one day.
maybe one day. Jules, when we're not here, where can the people find you?
At JulesTheHuman, at JULES the Human on all social media, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Threads, talking about comics on Threads. We post the podcast here on my YouTube channel and Matt's YouTube channel, but there's also an Anime Hour Pod YouTube channel, so you can see the VODs there. Also, you can watch us on Spotify or any podcasting platform. You can watch us on Spotify. The videos are up there. YouTube Music, it should be up there as well, and whatever podcast platform you watch podcasts. But watch, what is it called? Chrono Crusade. I was gonna say Code Crusade. That's what I was like. I don't think it's
Code
called
Lyoko?
Chrono Crusade. Chrono Crusade 1 through 4 by next week. And we'll see y'all then.
Bye.
Bye.